It is not just an obscure teaching of our Holy Father. This brings us right into the very heart of the Christian mystery. We believe in an incarnate God. And so now I will read to you the Holy Father's thesis statement of his theology of the body. If I were to summarize all 129 talks and boil it down, this is where we arrive. The Holy Father says that the body, and it alone, is capable of making visible what is invisible, the spiritual and the divine. It was created to transfer into the visible reality of the world the mystery hidden since time immemorial in God, and thus to be a sign of it. I'll say that again. The body, and it alone, the Pope says, is capable of making visible what is invisible, the spiritual and divine. Let's stop there for a moment. We as human beings, we are spiritual. But we are not merely spiritual. We are a combination of the spiritual and the material. There is a profound unity in the human person between body and soul. How do you know that the spiritual mystery of Christopher West is in front of you? Do you see my spirit? But you see my body makes visible to you the invisible mystery of my spirit, as does your body to me. And yet, because as male and female, we are made in the image and likeness of God, the human body also makes visible something of the invisible mystery of God's very divinity. It makes visible the spiritual and the divine. Therefore, continuing, the Pope says, the body was created to transfer into the visible reality of the world the mystery hidden since time immemorial in God, and thus the body becomes a sign of this divine mystery. Now, what is the mystery hidden in God from time immemorial? This is a phrase that the Holy Father borrows from St. Paul, who in the letter to the Ephesians speaks of the mystery hidden for ages in God, which is now made visible. What is the mystery hidden for ages in God that is now made visible? The Catechism explains it well. This is Catechism number 221. We read there that God has revealed His innermost secret. You should be stunned right now. God has revealed His innermost secret. What is it? What is the innermost secret of God? This is the key to understanding the universe. The innermost secret of God is that God Himself is an eternal exchange of love, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And He has destined us to share in that exchange. The very reason you are created, the very reason you exist, is because you are destined for communion. You could also say this: you are destined for love. You are destined to participate in the eternal communion, the eternal exchange of love found in the Trinity. You know that deep ache you have in your heart for something? That craving, that yearning, that desire that compels you to do all that you do? What are you searching for? You are searching for love, for perfect love. And this perfect love is found only in the Trinity. And this perfect love of the Trinity has been revealed, has been made manifest, has been made visible. How? The Word was made flesh. Our bodies also, even prior to the incarnation, our bodies, in the very order of creation, make visible the invisible mystery of God. Our bodies, as male and female, reveal this eternal exchange of love. And they also reveal our destiny to partake in that eternal exchange of love. How so? The Scriptures use many images to help us understand God's love for us. We have the shepherd and the sheep. We have the vine and the branches. We even have the mother hen and her chicks. We have the parent-child relationship, father-son. We have the king and his kingdom. And yet, what image do the Scriptures use far more than any other to help us understand God's love for us? Can you say that loudly, Father? Nuptial love. The union of man and woman in one flesh. This image is used far more than any other in the Scriptures to help us understand God's love for us. Think about this. The Bible begins in Genesis with the creation of man and woman, and they're called to become one flesh. Skip to the end of the story, the book of Revelation describes heaven how? As an eternal marriage. The marriage of Adam and Eve in the book of Genesis is fulfilled in the marriage of the new Adam and the new Eve, Christ and his church, in the book of Revelation. And what the Pope helps us to understand through his theology of the body is that we can look to these two bookends of the Scriptures as a key for interpreting all that lies between. God's eternal plan, if you will, employing this image, is to marry us. The prophet Hosea says, I have betrothed myself to you forever. Indeed, throughout the Old Testament, God speaks of his love, the love he has for his people, as the love of a husband for his bride. In the New Testament, the love of the eternal bridegroom is literally embodied when the Word becomes flesh. And God wanted this eternal marital plan to be so plain to us, so obvious to us, that he inscribed an image of it right in our bodies by making us male and female and calling us to become one flesh. The union of the sexes is meant to be, in a certain sense, a sacramental sign of the eternal mystery of God. That God himself is an eternal exchange of love. And that we, as male and female, are destined to share in that exchange. Here, the Holy Father brings a dramatic development of Catholic thinking. Traditionally, theologians have said, we image God as individuals through our rational soul. This is certainly true. But our Holy Father daringly takes that a step further. And he says we do not only image God as individuals, we also image God through the communion of man and woman that God created right from the beginning. And in this way, our Holy Father is saying that the sexual embrace itself becomes an image or an icon, in some sense, of the inner life of the Trinity. Now here we have to be very careful, because God himself is not sexual. We use sexual love only as an analogy of the Trinitarian mystery. And as with any analogy, as with